Hello everyone, I'm Jinyu. Welcome to Jinyu Talks about the spleen and stomach. In our daily lives, we often refer to trivial matters as a fart's worth of importance. Today, I want to discuss the topic of farting from the perspective of intestinal health with our fans. Speaking of farting, it might indeed be a bit indelicate, but let's refer to it more elegantly as releasing intestinal gas. In life, have we ever encountered such situations? For example, in a crowded elevator or office area, suddenly your stomach gurgles, and you feel the urge to pass gas. If you can't hold it in, you end up releasing it, which can be quite embarrassing, especially if there's an odor that spreads and makes the situation even more awkward. I'd like to ask if anyone has ever experienced or witnessed such a situation. We often say that it's not a big deal, but in reality, it's closely related to our intestinal health. It's not an overstatement or a trick to attract attention. This is because everyone passes gas, and we commonly say farting. So, what exactly is a fart? To understand whether it's an abnormal condition, we first need to know where it comes from. Firstly, we call it the waste gas of the human body, which is primarily produced during the food decomposition process. When food enters our intestines, it is broken down by various digestive enzymes and releases some gases, similar to the biogas produced during the fermentation process in a biogas pool. Do you understand? Our intestines are airtight, so the excess gas keeps accumulating and eventually gets expelled from the body. For instance, when we drink water, chew food, chat, or breathe, air continuously enters our esophagus. Moreover, the strong pressure of the gas may stimulate our diaphragm in the chest cavity, causing it to contract, which leads to what we often refer to as hiccups. It's possible that this air gets compressed into our stomach and eventually gets sent to the intestines. Becoming a type of lung gas, we refer to this waste gas as fart and then expel it from the body. Of course, long periods of fasting can also lead to the phenomenon of gas release. When the food in the intestines is completely digested, the stomach and intestines will contract. Although gastrointestinal motility is weakened, it is still ongoing, so the only thing being transported is air. Have you noticed this pattern? When we feel hungry, we tend to pass gas, which we commonly refer to as farting. Some people feel the need to pass gas due to drinking beverages, such as carbonated drinks and beer, which contain a large amount of carbon dioxide. Once these beverages enter the human body, they decompose and produce a large amount of gas, causing the stomach to expand and accelerating gastric motility. We should be aware that at this time, we might burp or pass gas through the lungs in the form of a fart. Many people are squeamish about discussing farts and have many misconceptions. In fact, those who pass a lot of gas are not very clear about it. Some people might hold it in, but remember, holding it in is harmful to the body. Since it is waste gas, it is superfluous and should be expelled. Some people might say, "Oh, I pass a lot of gas, which proves that my digestion is good." This is also incorrect. Let me tell you, it is a normal state to pass 10 to 15 farts a day. If you eat sweet potatoes, onions, cabbage, various beans, and other foods that can cause bloating, then we're more likely to experience the phenomenon of gas release and the expulsion of a large amount of waste gas when there is an excess of gas in our intestines. We must adjust our digestive function. If you pass too many farts, it raises an alarm for health. If you pass gas normally, it's not a problem at all. Many people who never pass gas or rarely do. Is that healthy? Of course not. Some people recall that they haven't passed gas for a long time. I tell everyone that this is also normal. Even while sleeping, we unconsciously expel excess gas. If a newborn baby never passes gas, it might be anal atresia. If an adult does not pass gas or have a bowel movement for 3 days, it might be necessary to pay attention. To prevent intestinal blockage, hemorrhoids, intestinal obstruction, and so on, we should pay attention to this. If in many situations it is considered impolite to pass gas and you hold it back when you feel the urge, although it's embarrassing, holding it back is really not good. Most of the time, passing gas is very casual. Don't be aggrieved. If you can't hold it in, find a place to avoid embarrassment, right? If you often hold it in, it can also easily lead to constipation. We often say that when people are in the world, there is no way not to hold back farts. Haha, but unfortunately, when you can't hold it back, it is also embarrassing. When you hold it to a certain extent, your body is not well, right? For example, the gas of hiccuping. I tell everyone, if you desperately hold it in and then you hold it in and it is not expelled, what will happen? It enters the circulatory system and it will wander around to the liver and then to the lungs, and finally, it is also expelled with breathing. So I hope everyone must not hold it in. Holding it in is not good and it is quite dangerous. If you have long-term gastrointestinal problems and often hold it in and have constipation, it is easy to have intestinal obstruction. So I tell everyone not to hold in farts. If you feel a little uncomfortable, you should let it out when it's time, right? Some people also say that loud farts are not smelly, and smelly farts are not loud. In life, are there people who say that passing gas makes no sound, covering up the smell, and you don't know who did it? But some people have no smell, and the sound is particularly loud. Is there such a phenomenon? I think everyone has more or less encountered this phenomenon in life, right? So the first thing is, some people say that the smell is like that of a rotten egg, right? It's particularly smelly, which is equivalent to the smell of protein metabolism at the end of decay. If you may have gastrointestinal problems, then farting is not only an embarrassing thing, but actually a dangerous signal. If you pass gas that smells like fish, particularly smelly, I tell everyone that you should go to the hospital for a checkup and see if there is any problem. Many people when defecating, look at this, it is particularly black and particularly smelly, which is not a trivial matter. This is very serious. I hope everyone will pay more attention and protect the intestines. We must start from the details of life, right? And of course, we say the importance of spleen and stomach health to follow the principle of 3 parts treatment and 7 parts nourishment. This nourishment is what we do from food nourishment. I recommend a vegetable called ginger for everyone, which is very suitable from late autumn to winter. It can be found and purchased in many places. You can eat ginger. In fact, ginger is very good. It can supplement something called bifidocute acacia. This bifidocute acacia is an important beneficial bacterium in our intestines. It can not only inhibit the growth of harmful bacteria but also resist bacterial infections. And in synthesizing vitamins, it can purify the intestinal environment and decompose the bad parts, playing the most important role. The word I don't want to say is decomposition. If there are certain cells in your intestines, they have a decomposing effect, as well as the effect of inhibiting intestinal corruption, alleviating the symptoms of constipation and chronic diarrhea. Of course, ginger is rich in inulin, which is also a kind of fructival and can promote the proliferation of bifidocubed acacia, changing the intestinal flora environment. In this way, I recommend this food therapy method called pickled ginger. You can wash the ginger, put it in a container, add a little sugar, salt, Sichuan pepper, and vinegar, and marinate it for a week, and then it can be eaten. It's very simple, crisp, and refreshing, and can be served with steamed buns or porridge. So, to supplement probiotics, prebiotics are indispensable. Which are the food for probiotics? Probiotics can survive because the premise of our intestinal health is based on the presence of prebiotics. Usually, eating some pectin foods can increase prebiotics. They are water-soluble dietary fibers that can promote the excretion of excess cholesterol. With an increase in intestinal probiotics and prebiotics, the intestines can be protected, and probiotics can multiply in large numbers. For example, you can eat some fruits like apples, bananas, and strawberries to increase prebiotics in the intestines. You can also appropriately eat some dietary fiber foods to allow our intestines to move well, to retain excess water in the intestines, and to increase the capacity of intestinal feces, stimulating intestinal peristalsis and enabling us to defecate in large quantities. If you have poor bowel movements, you can eat more dietary fiber foods like spinach to help with digestion. Especially, we should eat more green leafy vegetables. Regarding the issue of flatulence today, I will discuss it with you here. If everyone can observe their health from the problem of flatulence, that will be the best. We often say that health is observed from the details. Well, I will discuss this topic with you for now. Thank you for watching. I hope you subscribe to my channel. And see you next time.